So that's another interesting thing this year. It's not just cheaper. There's some stuff that's really, really expensive.
Yeah.
You know, Cook and Leica have, Cook's got their new S7s, Leica's got the Talias. Those are not affordable by any means, but in that case, it's all about image size. They're going bigger image circle.
Welcome to Cinema 5D on the Go. Moving conversations about moving images with filmmakers and industry leaders. Brought to you by Tilta, Blackmagic Design, Fujinon, and G Technology, in association with Sony. This is your host, Nino Leitner.
Welcome to Cinema 5D on the Go. Today we have some really special guests that I'm happy about to have here. That's Matt and Alex from Duclos Lenses.
Hello.
Thanks for being here, guys. I've been following your company and your work really for a long time. And I mean, your name is synonymous with rehousing lenses, right? And you know, like even before, I think the manufacturers actually rehouse their own photo lenses into cinema.
Yeah, I think worldwide that's probably what we're a little more known for, but in the States we're definitely, our primary business that we're known for is service, like maintaining cinema lenses.
That's amazing.
Definitely, like that's a much bigger business for us than the modifications.
So let's get right into it. I mean, this is a very exciting time for people who are into lenses. Like, I mean, cinematographers in general, where we had the cameras for years now that are amazing and shoot amazing images, but only recently it started with, you know, lenses that are affordable and deliver a really high quality for cinematographers. Why do you think it took that long?
Couldn't tell you. I think one of the reason that I think it is digital cameras, digital cinema sort of exploded right around the Red 1, the 5D period, when it just became so accessible. You know, from overnight we saw used lens prices skyrocket. Like right before the Red 1 came out, you could get a set of super speeds for like maybe 10 or 15 grand, and now you can't find them for less than 50 or 70 grand. It's unbelievable. And it's just a supply and demand. There's so many cameras, there's so much content being shot, all the different mediums, all the different formats, the internet, YouTube, all that stuff. There's just so much more to shoot.
That's amazing. So basically, well, also even with like, you know, Nikon photo lenses and stuff, I mean, they went up in price like crazy when the Red 1 came out, I think. And I think, I mean, a lot has happened since then. So what do you feel, let's talk about the new announcements from this year.
There's a ton of them.
Yeah. What is your favorite?
Oh, my favorite. That's tough.
Let's say the, you know, announcements over the past year really up until now.
I would say the one that I've been interested the most in would be the Cook Classic Panchros. I think that concept is something that it's really difficult. There's not a lot of manufacturers out there that have that kind of heritage, and I think it's awesome that Cook is embracing that and going with a classic lens that sort of takes the edge off. It's kind of the direction a lot of people have been going with vintage lenses, but Cook's doing it from the factory. You know, proper housings, new parts, replacement parts. I think that's pretty cool.
What's your personal preference in, I mean, there's a manufacturer like Zeiss, they want to have the perfect lens in terms of sharpness, but they, you know, some people say sacrifice characteristic for that sometimes. Would you rather have a lens that's technically perfect and super sharp, or one that has character, whatever that means?
Horses for courses. It depends what I'm shooting. If I'm doing, you know, I'll give two perfect examples. Something like Oblivion, the Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah.
It's got to be perfect, crystal sharp, clear, accurate. That's just the look they needed. If you're doing another Star Wars film that's supposed to look like it's in the 70s, take the lens that, you know, isn't perfect, cuts some of that edge off. It's really depends on what you're shooting. I would never pick one or the other. It depends on the project.
Yeah. So more like the more effect and look you can generate in camera, the better. Because a lot of people say, well, you can, you know, you can make it look old in post as long as your image is perfect.
Yeah, you'll never get. You could do a lot in post. Everyone knows that, but you'll never get that in-camera burned-in classic look.
Yeah. So, well, there's I mean, for me, last year, was it IBC where it was the show of the zoom lenses, right? The cinema zooms.
Yeah, lots of new zooms there.
That was something for years that we've been waiting for, because I think using photo zooms shooting video is terrible because of many things. I mean, pulling focus, changing the aperture, all these things. There's a couple of amazing announcements. The Fuji 1855 is now in the market, I think. At a much lower price point than many expected, I think.
Yeah, there's kind of two ways things are going. Bigger image circle and more affordable price. So you've got guys like Fuji with the 18-55, Zeiss with their lightweight zoom, Sigma with their Cine zooms that are all really affordable compared to what we had, even 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's it's a nice move, because I think this was really the last thing. We all had the primes, and I think there was like an abundance of primes at some point. We're like, okay, well, everybody comes out with primes. We have like these Cine, we have the Schneider, Kreuznach, we have all these different brands, and you had all the selection in the world when it came to primes, but it's still, I think it probably is very much harder to make a zoom lens, right?
Oh yeah, that's why you saw so many primes. It was like their foray into the cinema world. Schneider had done some stuff in the past. They had the Cine Xenars, but in the affordable world, it's so much easier to start with the primes than it is the zooms. But even then, this year at NAB it's the year of primes. There's only like 2 new zooms. It's all primes.
Well, maybe they take a little bit more time, but there is definitely a need now that they announced the first affordable ones. They need more probably longer focal lengths on the zoom range. Yeah.
So that's another interesting thing this year. It's not just cheaper. There's some stuff that's really, really expensive. Cook and Leica have. Cook's got their new S7s. Leica's got the Talias. Those are not affordable by any means, but in that case, it's all about image size. They're going bigger image circle.
I mean, you guys go through a lot of lenses every day, right? Like servicing them.
Yeah.
What do you feel is the most popular line you would well, that's not. I mean, what is? Maybe you don't have to name specific models, but is there specific lines that need more servicing than others?
Yeah, actually, that's something a lot of people notice. Like when people come to our shop and we'll give them a tour, all the lenses that we're servicing stay in a vault, and we'll open up the vault, and the first thing you notice is the whole bottom shelf is full of 12 times Optimos, like the 24-290.
Okay.
And it's not that they're poorly designed or that they're they're prone to breaking down.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that there's so many of them out there, and they get used so often they need more maintenance.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the newer stuff we rarely see, like the Fujinon stuff or
a lot of vintage primes.
Oh yeah,
tons of vintage.
That's
primes.
been a huge resurgence lately.
So you guys basically do you know every lens that you usually get, or is there still surprises of things you haven't had before, and you're like, okay, well,
there's
how are we
some
gonna
surprises.
fix this?
Yeah, I mean, we have a really good technician staff.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's 8 technicians total. No, sorry. Yeah, about 8 actually.
Yeah.
And some of them are better at some things than there are others. So like, when we get a set of Kawas, we have 2 technicians in particular. Like, all right, you guys do what you do. You know these well. We get an Optimo, we give it to the Optimo guy. We're pretty well rounded, and there's not much that we haven't seen that comes in for service. But at the same time, there's a lot of stuff that we'll reject. We'll say, oh, we're not the best guys for that. You should go to so and so.
Yeah.
We're not going to try to do something that's beyond our capacity.
But let's go back to the new lenses. So how do you feel about? I mean, the CP2s from Zeiss were the most popular Cine lenses ever sold, right? How many did they sell?
That, yeah. I think they said I want to say 30,000.
I think so. Yeah.
What did they say at the announcement?
Yeah, I think it's about 30,000 since the introduction of the original CPs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about the new series?
I think it's a really good step forward. It's really, I think they went above and beyond what most manufacturers are doing.
Yeah.
I haven't had a whole lot of hands-on time with the glass itself, and they just announced it. But like the XD stuff, having that metadata in there, it's something that not a lot of manufacturers are doing. You know, some of them will have focus and iris position and that sort of thing, but like having the distortion mapping built in and the shade, the light fall off built in, that's some pretty cool stuff.
They asked me about that stuff like a year ago, how I would feel about having that, and I told them, well, it's not something that many people do, and I think it's going to be very important for post-production people, because usually you have the camera assistants, you know, taking all the kind of notes and like what glass it is, blah blah blah.
It's interesting though, because they offer them you know, normal CP3 and the XD that has that. So I'll be really interested to see what that ratio ends up being once we start selling them. How many people are picking the regular lens compared to the XD lens?
And the new mechanical design is miles beyond the CP2s. You know, that it's not going to bind up in the freezing cold. It's really
I
smooth.
like that finally the focus is so smooth. It's like a master prime.
The focus was notoriously heavy on the CP2s.
Yeah, it was very heavy. And that was strange because you basically needed a better full focus with a cheaper lens.
They actually ported the master prime focus helical over to the CP3s.
Oh wow, so it's the same thing.
Yeah, so it's top-notch mechanical design.
Yeah. I'm also happy I just had a shoot 2 weeks ago where the client wanted me to use, the director wanted me to use their 18 compact prime, and I said, please don't. Because I just, compared to the 15, I just don't like it. And the 15 is so beautiful. And it was a green screen shoot, so there was a lot of actual things that could go wrong in terms of, you know, chromatic aberration, stuff like that. So, and he was happy that we chose the 15 in the end. So it could just crop in. We shot in 8K anyway, so it's not a big deal.
That old 18 was kind of, there were a couple weak points in the CP2 line. The 18 was definitely one of them. But then the new one is a completely new design.
It's really nice,
So it is nice.
I am a little bit surprised. I didn't know about the announcement, but I was expecting them to announce new primes. I didn't know if they were going to replace the CP2s or not. But I was surprised to hear that they did not use the Milvus glass in like the new, you know, Milvus design, like of the 50 and 35 in the CP3s, because that's why they replaced, or kind of are in the process of replacing, their classic photo line with the Milvus lenses, because they want to get a more even look, right? They want to.
More consistent.
That's the problem with the classics, that they just, a lot of them are old and some of them are really new, and so that's what surprised me, that they didn't go that step. But that's probably going to be, I don't know. I mean, the existing super speeds are staying, right? They are,
which is cool. If you want that sort of take the edge off look.
Maybe they will replace them at some point. I don't know. I mean, we'll see.
That'd be nice. New super speeds.